Hello people, welcome back to my channel. So hope you are enjoying the Python skill series so far. So in the beginning of the Python series, we have seen or we have covered about the different data structures that are present in Python. Like we saw the list, dictionary, set, tuple. Then we also saw string, which was also one of a type of object which was basically used in for loop for iteration of each of the objects. So whenever you just initialized any object or a string and then we used to call the for loop, then it would print the alphabets in one particular order. So and in list also we could do the same activity. So what I could do is I'll just give an example. So say for example, I have a string, so like this. So that is YouTube. So now S contains YouTube, and if I check the type of S, that is of class string. Now if I want to print each of the elements of YouTube, that is YOUTUBE. So what I basically do is for I in S, I'll print the value of I. So this is what it basically returns. So each of the alphabets contained in that particular string, it will just print in each of the line. Now, how do you think this particular mechanism is working internally? So this is not only the case with string data structure, even with list, tuple, then set, dictionary, and the other variants, that is the advanced variants, like we have not covered those, like in ordered dictionary or named tuple. So in that also we find the similar concept of printing these elements. But with integers and float and boolean types or complex types, these things are not applicable, or it's not present. So there should be something in this particular data structure so that it makes different as compared to the other available data structures that we have. So these particular data structures, that is whatever we have, that is the list, then we have tuple, then we have set, then dictionary, then we have string. So these types of data structures are called as iterables. Now just understand the word, that is this iterators and iterables, both are different. So iterables refers to these data structures or the primitive data structures that are present in Python. So in these data structures or in the particular class of this, so what we just saw is we just printed the class of this type S and we got string. So similarly with each of the data structure, it will be associated with one particular class. So in the class of these data structures, that is list, tuple, set, dictionary, there is a method, in fact. So that method is called as, or it is underscore underscore iter, and it takes an object which is iterable. So we have seen that is the object oriented programming in Python, and we know that is this is how we define function or initialize function. So this has a similar construct of init, so just not get confused with this. So we are just talking about the iter. So iter takes an iterable. Like if you look at the init method, it takes a parameter that is self. Now with iter, it takes an iterable. Now what is an iterable? that we have just discussed here, that is list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So when you pass an iterable, or these particular data structures in their class have this method that is by default iter, which allows them for the initialization of an iterator. So this will result to an iterator, means they can be printed one by one, and it also returns an iterator object. So iterator object is basically each of the variables or each of the data elements that are present in this. So this iterator is essentially invoked with the help of a method that is iter, iter, and it takes these iterables. So iterables will be considered as one object. So that goes into this iter function. Now inside this iterators, uh, one thing is we have this iter function, and second is a function which is called as next method. Now next is responsible in the looping context. So what we saw on this shell, that is printing these elements, and why this printing happened, because this string data structure supported this looping, that is for loop. So it is because of this next method it is able to print these elements one by one. So that is in the looping context. So what this next method takes as input, so whatever iterables you convert into an iterator by using this method that is iter, you basically have to assign it to a object, and this object goes into next, and by this it will print each of the objects one by one in a sequence. So that is the basic idea of iterators. So for iterators to get initialized, you need to have an iterable. Iterable could be from any of these data structures which are there in Python. So that is the basic idea of iterators. Now let us realize this with the help of an example. So I'll just close this and we'll start the coding. So the basic coding which we have done here. So just I will have a string. So in that string, I'll write iterator, iterator. Okay. And now this is a string. So what I do is I just print s, and I also print here the type of s, so that you can understand what is internally happening, and how it is being converted from one data structure to an iterator object. Now this is just the case, like if I just run this, it is an iterator and the class is string. So whatever value s that we have assigned, that is iterator, and it is of class string. Now what we want to do is, I want to convert this string, which we know it is an iterable, to an iterator. So what I do is I call the itr function, and to this I just pass the s variable, uh, that is the iterable, and I just make an object. So I assign this to an object. So that is what we have spoken here, that is this part. So we are coding on this part. So once it is done, so now what I do is I just print this thing, that is itr obj, and the type of the itr obj. So I'll just run this again, and you can see the first result of iterable was the name of that particular thing that you initialized and its class. The second thing, after the conversion, the string which was there originally got converted to an string iterator object, and this is the memory address. So we are not concerned about this. And the class here, now it is a string iterator class. Before that it is just a string. So with each and every data structure, that is list or tuple or dictionary or set, this class basically changes. So now what we do is, so we have created the iterator object. Now we want to print this each of this iterator object. So how will I print that? So if I print next of, and inside next what I want to send is this particular object. So whatever object we have created, that is itr object, we will send that here, and we'll just see what output we get. So the output we get is I. Now on the console itself, or on the shell itself, I'll just print that it is itr obj. So if I call this again, it will print t. So that is the next letter in iterator. Then if I call this again, it will print the next element. If I call again, r a t o r. So this was about the length of the strings that are present. So if I just print length of s, so length of s was 8. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 elements. Now what I do is, if I what if I call the next function again on this iterator object? So you can see it throwed an error. So if you just read this traceback, that is it is of stop iteration, and there are no further explanations as we get from other exceptions like name error or type error, things like that. So this exception we need to handle. So if you just write a code which is of this line, and if you just n number of iterator object, basically what happens is, say we have created the s, and inside this we have I, then T, E, R, A, T, O, and R. So what happens is, the next function which is there, so next function acts as a pointer. So the first pointer comes here, then you print the next again, the pointer goes here, then it goes here. So as and when it reaches the next head, and if you call this next function again, basically there is nothing after this. So it is not that very intelligent to identify what is the end of the uh, string or length of the string, and then it will stop. So that thing is not there, or that kind of intelligence or capability is not there inside this next method. So what we need to do, so this is an exception that we need to handle. So we have seen how we can handle the exception. So we basically need to do something for this. So instead of writing this particular code, what we do is, we just modified this code, and basically we'll change this. So these things, you know what happens. So after this, what I do is, instead I'll just write this here, that is after creation of the iterator object. So now what I need to do is, I need to pass this into a while loop. So while, and the condition that I put is, I basically don't have any access of the object. So whatever string I'm getting, I want to read that, and from that string I'll print the element. So uh, you have to write a boolean flag or boolean condition while true, and inside this you have to write a try catch, not a try catch, try except. So that try except will first print this until the length, so that is handled by this try. And in the except we need to get that error what it throwed, that is stop iteration. So I'll just copy and I'll just paste here. So you can see the color got changed. For stop iteration means it is identifiable from inside, and inside this we need to just write a break, so that will automatically break after you reach this particular line, or whatever is the length of that particular string is. So we just go ahead and just run this. Okay, so you can see it printed all the elements, and there was no error. So it actually got printed. So after this or after printing this R, the next method got executed, but due to this except or exception handling, this program execution terminated. So this is the way how we handle the exception, and we can successfully print the iterator object. Now, as I mentioned, we can do with tuple. So we'll just write on the shell itself. So say I have a tuple t, and I have some elements 10, 20, 30, and 40. Okay. So if I check t, it will be of this, and if I check the type of t, that is a class tuple. Now what I do is I assign it to iterator object. So itr is an iterator object, and I'll just pass this t to this iterator object. And if I just type itr, you can see it is a tuple iterator object at this particular address. And if I check the type of itr now, it is of tuple iterator, where here in list or in string you had the str iterator. Now we can check this with for list. So with list, say we are having elements like a, b. This is just a random example like how the class changes. For demonstrating that, we have this. So l and type of l, that is class list, and then I have itr and iter of l, that is a list iterator at this particular object. So you need not change the object name every time, because whenever you create the same variable name, it will be assigned to different memory locations. So this memory location and this memory location both are different. So at the different memory location, the same variable name gets stored. So it's like two persons living at different locations can have the same name. So you cannot raise any objections in that. So same is the case with ITR object. So you can create ITR object n number of times. There will be no conflicts in referencing of the memory address. So next we just create again. So let's have a set data type. So again I've said data, and inside this I'm just passing the elements 1 2 3 123 56 like this. And if I check the type of data, that is of class set. And what I do is now itr object, and inside iter I'll just write data, and itr is an set iterator, and type of this itr is a set iterator. So everything is stored at different memory addresses. And let us do one more activity with the dictionary. So say my dict, and in my dictionary I have the elements in this way. So I have 101, and with colon I have A, with 102 colon I have element with B, and with 103 I have element with C. Okay, and if I just print this my dict, so it will basically print the dictionary. And if I check type of my dict, that is class dictionary. And now if I again create an object of iterator, that is iter, and inside this I'll pass my dictionary, and if I just say type of my dict, not this thing, I meant to type itr. So it is of dict key iterator, so it iterates basically on the key and not on the value, so key is uniquely accessed. So well, this was all regarding the concept of the iterators in Python. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found you got educated on this video, please do like, share, comment, and if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching this video.